Yes, you absolutely can correct your forward head posture. We as a society are spending so much time on computer screens, on phones, on apps, whatever, that we are closing forwards. And that becomes a habitual pattern of text neck. Look at this x-ray here of this person on the computer. The head is deviated forwards. Imagine the movement of their organs, their digestion, their energy level, their defecation, but most importantly, imagine what their breath is like. So I mentioned the breath. That's the number one thing that most movement and manual practitioners miss out when trying to help clients correct forward head postures. If you have a faulty breath pattern, a reverse breath pattern, the head is going to compensate and move forward in order to balance and get optimal breath into the lungs. So I mentioned breathing, but there are many other things that contribute to a forward head posture. Remember, how we feel in life, our emotions dictate through to our posture. So it can be deep-seated emotions as well, pulling us forwards into a closed, depressed feel. Our breathing patterns. Other thing, breathing patterns are usually compensations for things like food intolerances. But this is my first test that I do with clients. So I firstly get my client to stand against the corner of two walls. See how far they can stand up straight. Now, they'll either have the top of their back connected and their head forward, or they'll be forward here, or they'll be connected there, but then their pelvis will be out. So see where they are to start with. And that also is a good passive feedback system for the client. Be careful they're not cheating, because remember, the eyes are always trying to find the horizon. So as a compensation pattern, I quite often see this when it should be this. So quite often a forward head posture can be linked with a kyphosis, and that's going to be on my next video. So before we start to strengthen, we need to make sure we have released, relaxed, restored tissue quality and stretched, mobilized, pendiculated, whatever you want to call it. So my forward head is linked with the top of the thoracic, isn't it? It's this whole clavicle and the rest of the body. But I'm just going to address round here. So you've got two bones going across here, and they are called the clavicle. You can see in the diagram. Now, I've got two different types of ball. One's like a harder lacrosse ball, and the other is a harder spiky ball. Now, I want to open my chest in order to return my head into its correct position. So I'm going to start with the ball. I'm going to find that clavicle bone. I'm going to start from the inside and I'm going to go under it down about 1 inch. Ooh, and that is quite painful for me. So I am going to massage out there, and I'm going to go in a circular motion, but work from the inside to the out, right the way up towards all those tissues in and around the shoulders. And I'm actually going to come back in the same direction. Right the way in towards that sternum. Same thing on the other side. Remember, 1 inch below the clavicle, working from in to out. And you'll always have one side of the body which is better than the other. Now I'm going to try with this spiky ball and see how that feels. Oh, yes. To go to the other side. So 2 different balls, 2 different results, 2 different releases. And remember, my thinking behind that is to release tightness and held patterns in and around the clavicle, which are to do with faulty breathing patterns, emotion, lots of other things as well. So the first exercise I would do is grab a hand towel and I'm going to roll it up as tight as I can. Then I'm going to face sideways so you can see, and I'm going to place it behind the mid-head, elbows forward. Now, I don't want to collapse, I want to stand up as tall as I can. Now, I want a 2-way resistance. So the towel is going to be pulling me forwards into more forward head, but I've got to push back. So it's like a contract release. Okay, so I'm going to pull and push at the same time. So here we go. I'm pulling forward and pushing back. Chin slightly tucked in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And you will feel like you're getting a double chin. I'm going to do it facing forward to you. Pushing back with the head, pulling forwards, chin slightly tucked in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Other way. Pull and push at the same time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So my next exercise for forward head is actually to work lying prone on the tummy. Now, as soon as I'm lying prone, you're going to see this indentation. I'm going to bring my head back, tuck my chin in, and pull my shoulder blades back onto the spine. So let's try a seated variation first. So I'm going to kneel sideways. Remember, you can sit if your knees can't take this. I'm going to interlace my hands behind my back, palms facing up. I'm going to lift the arms away without letting that humeral head go forward. Pull my shoulder blades back, bring my head back, tuck my chin in. Now I don't want the arms too high. I want them slightly away, but then pulling down. Chin tucked in slightly. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again. Pull to go back, chin in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you've got the feel. So now gravity is going to be pulling you forwards. So I'd go onto the floor now. Now remember, if we're working postural type muscles, we do want to be holding for longer periods of time. But I initially want to build the correct firing pattern and not have compensation in and around the shoulders, lumbar spine. So, hands behind the back, nose under. Now, I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back, reach my hands down. I don't want to come up too high. I want to tuck my chin in. Bring my head back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And again. So the last exercise for forward head is actually not what you would think. Remember, forward head is actually a compensation pattern, and this is why the body has to be addressed holistically. In my experience, and this is my opinion and my personal experience, most forward head is a result of a faulty breathing pattern. And usually it's to do with food intolerances, emotional stress, and many other things. So you need to learn to nose breathe. So find yourself a comfortable upright position. You don't have to sit on the floor. I've put myself kneeling and I've put this pillow underneath. Hands are pressing down. Okay, I'm going to relax the shoulders, give myself a little wiggle. Now, I'm going to start just by closing off one nostril. I'm going to breathe in for 5, hold for 5, exhale out the opposing nostril and hold for 5. Then I'm going to go back and forth. This is actually a yoga technique, but I find it really good for people to do to start to nose breathe. It brings attention to what's going on in their body, slows them down, and also more awareness. Another top tip, your right side of the body in the right nostril controls the left side of the brain and vice versa. So whichever side of the nostril you're breathing in, it has an impact on the opposite side of the brain. How do we know that? If you've ever dealt with anybody who has a stroke, it's usually the opposite side which is paralysed. So I'm going to actually start with my left nostril open, but it doesn't matter. Here we go. In 5. So I'm going to breathe in for 5, hold for 5, exhale out through the nose for 5 and hold for 5. Then I'm going to go back the same way. Here we go. Close both nostrils off. We can also work just with one nostril. And the last top tip that you can try at home when you get more experienced is a neti pot. And I learnt this on my yoga teacher training. It's a little bit like a mini watering can. So you're filling the pot with a saline fluid, a salt water, Himalayan pink salt, of course, and then you are popping it through the nostrils. So watch this little video here. So that rounds up a bit of our forward head. Try some of those at home, see how you get on and let me know. I hope it helps.